thing before it leaves like the official premium formats whenever that weekend comes.
That's an all-time experience right there. You're gonna remember that one,
Mm-hmm.
for sure. I mean, I would say I'll be interested too because I know Spider-Man comes out in 2 weeks. I'll be interested to see how long this thing can last in IMAX too, because that's gonna want some of those
Yeah,
theaters too.
I'm
So
guessing
I wonder what the split's gonna be.
they're gonna do what I think they did like previously with like Dune, and I think it was like Dune Part Two and another movie that came out. I think it was Sinners. Uh, then those two like
Oh,
came out like near one another, or it was something like that. Um, where it was like Dune because it was the more older film that got like released earlier in the year. They gave it the early show times in IMAX. If you want to go see Dune 2 in IMAX, you would go at like 11 and 3. Sinners was 5, 8 o'clock, and 11 p.m. So it had like the late night ones. So that way it's not like the matinee cost. They would get like the full price, like, payment for the new movie of the week.
Right. Dom, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing all right. I also saw this movie in standard definition because all the IMAX showings were sold out for like 3 days straight. Watched it, nope, Monday. And yeah. But other than that, just keeping up with the heat. Okay, so last week, not even just the heat, the air quality was piss poor to the point where it was off the charts. And cartridges, like 3M respirator that you use either for job sites or tear gas. And I was just walking around Chicago with it, and I was like, how the hell is no one wearing a mask? Not even an N95, which granted, N95, that's still not great for the level of air quality that was last Thursday. Absolute
Dude,
garbage.
I saw
I
people
was
driving
fine.
with their windows down. I'm like, what are you doing?
What an
Like,
idiot. Live and online, it's Sleepless with Steve and the Movie Book Club with your host, Steve Pulaski.
Back and better than ever. It's Sleepless with Steve, live on YouTube. We come to you live and in living color every Wednesday evening. The movie we're talking about today has a lot of color in it. The wonder of color in cinema very much loans itself to this movie we're talking about. Boots Riley's I Love Boosters. Missed it in theaters. These two gentlemen did see it in theaters. I missed it in theaters, being a flaming racist and everything. Did not make time for I Love Boosters. I saw As God Is, though. You can't come at me. You can't come at me with. I know I've been talking weird white boy summer all summer long. You can't come at me. I saw As God Is in theaters, and even fewer people saw that in theaters than this one. But now this is Boots Riley's new movie. What's so funny though is like, so we had back-to-back traveling weekends when this came out, and this thing was only in theaters for like 2 weeks because Obsession was so huge, and Mandalorian came out I think the following week,
And then
and
Backrooms.
and then Backrooms came out as well. Yeah, and that did it. So that was unfortunate timing for this. But you know what's funny? I still have not seen Sorry to Bother You either. I've not
Are
seen
you
that.
You know what?
serious?
I haven't either.
I've not seen
What?
it. No.
Joe, you're the only one, Joe.
Man, what the hell?
Which
I
is
thought
so
all
funny
of you.
'cause-
That's crazy. I
Yeah.
thought all of us have seen it. I could have sworn we've talked about it.
No, I never saw it because the other thing was too, the funniest part was like, that's why I was laughing with this one, because when I Love Boosters came out, we were traveling back-to-back weekends and I wasn't able to see it. Sorry to Bother You came out like I think the week after I moved to Peru, Illinois.
It did. Yeah.
And let's just say a Boots Riley joint's not going to play in Peru, Illinois. That's all I'm going to say. And
Wonder
so
why.
it was like a week after I moved. I was so glad because you know what the last thing I did, we did it the day we moved before we made the final drive, or the drive my mom and I to when I moved to LaSalle the morning of, you know what we went and saw because it wasn't playing in Peru? Uncle Drew.
Oh yeah, that did come
'Cause
out in
that was-
August as well.
That wasn't in Peru either. So
Yeah.
like I missed Sorry to Bother You and I never caught up with it. I never saw it. I still need to. It's a glaring blind spot. But I did see I Love Boosters yesterday. Catherine and I sat down to watch it finally. So we can talk about it. Wanted to make sure we had the three of us on to talk about it too. Because I know you guys are very high on it. Dom has said some whispers. I seen your letterbox rating already, Joe.
Oh, okay.
So I know you guys are very high on it too.
See, I didn't
So-
write a review because I was like, I'm gonna hide it, but I didn't know you saw the star rating.
Oh, I see. I'm on Letterboxd a ton. I see things. But yeah, so I know you guys are very high on this thing, and I want to give you the opportunity to talk about it too, because it's disappointing that we didn't get to talk about this when it was in theaters. But it is on premium video on demand right now. Not sure where it'll end up, if it's going to go on any streaming service. I'm not sure which one. I could probably look that up here in a second or so.
It might
But,
be going to Letterbox. Letterbox is putting in a bid for it apparently to have it on their video rental store.
Are they really?
Yeah.
That's an interesting. That would be a really
At a
interesting
discounted price too, because normally right now it's $20, but they would get it for like $5 or $6.
It does say, I do see briefly, it will be on Hulu as part of a streaming agreement with Neon.
Okay, good.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess I didn't realize too. Yeah, because I do remember reading Neon and Hulu had something of a partnership.
Yeah.
So another fitting and germane thing for I Love Boosters and all its color to be distributed by a studio named Neon. So we're going to talk about this though. That's going to be the bulk of the movie or the bulk of the review today. I kind of really just want to jump right into it if you guys are cool with that, because I'm chomping at the bit to talk about this thing.
Yeah.
So this movie, I'll just give a brief overview and then I'll throw it over to you guys, though. This movie's set in San Francisco, like the Bay Area, and it revolves around the Velvet Gang, which is comprised of Keke Palmer, Naomi Ackie, who is also in Is God Is, and Taylor Page. And essentially, they're part of what's known as the Velvet Gang. They're a group of boosters. If you don't know what boosting is, it's a really popular thing, like the Diggers movement in San Francisco. I feel like it harkens back to that. If
The
you know
what? No, I'm kidding.
the San Francisco Diggers with a D. And what they used to, because they used to do this back in like the 60s too, where they would take clothing and they would give it away for free. They would steal it and give it away. This, however, though, this group of women, they rob upscale designers in the San Francisco metro region. They steal the clothes and then sell them back at like an insanely discounted price. So it's very satisfying to watch all this unfold and everything like that. All while Corvette, who's played by Keke Palmer, wants to break into the fashion industry. And one of their big targets is also one of Corvette's biggest idols, and she is Christy Smith, a renowned designer, fashion mogul, played by Demi Moore in the film as well. Peppering this thing is a litany of cameos. You got Don Cheadle with dreads, that was fun to see. Will Poulter, who plays one of the managers of one of these design stores, an absolutely hilarious role. I was really excited to see what he was going to do. He didn't disappoint. Isaac Gonzalez is in this thing too, like Keith Stanfield, who was in Sorry to Bother You. Great deal of people. Poppy Lou, also a character too, who works in one of the factories where the clothes are made too. So this movie is very all-encompassing. It's very surreal and it's very absurd. This is kind of like a little bit like Everything Everywhere All at Once in so many ways, in that the movie kind of takes, eventually, the more it goes on, it starts to take the piss out of reality and starts to bend with the images and things like that. Real pop art inspired sets and everything like that. Again, very colorful, lots of fashion choices, very critical of capitalism, very critical of the fashion industry too. Fashion industry is a weird bunch. I don't even know a ton about it. I just know I know enough. I know enough to stay away. That being said, that is I Love Boosters, and I'll throw it over to you, Dom. Start us off with this new Boots Riley joint.
There is a specter haunting cinema. And it is the fact that neither of you laughed at that one shows how much work needs to be done. No, I'm kidding. No. It in the pantheon of like lefty, heavy political movies, this certainly will rank up there. I can already see like every socialist communist freaking group that exists in Chicago, playing this on repeat just in their
Time to
lobby
have our
waiting room.
annual viewing.
I mean, monthly, practically, right? But there is something to be said about where we are in this moment where, the Democratic Socialists of America are taking off. And more and more people are questioning the status quo. More and more people are turning against, if at the very least, the concept of a 40-hour work week, the concept of bosses earning so much money. And it's something in our lifetimes that I don't think we've really felt before. So this is something that, by all means, you'd think would have struck gold, but if the box office would tell us, it didn't seem to have. But you know what? And look, I'm sure Boots Riley would have preferred to have made a profit, but I do think there is something to be said about the underground, the status of this film, the street cred of this film, really, that will gestate and metastasize in the months and years to come. But really, to get to the heart of it, I Love Boosters is a movie that I very much love and adore. If anything, because it speaks to me, it's validating to me. Did it open my eyes to anything? Not really, in the sense that I kind of knew a lot of these concepts, but that's me. I do wonder if you can sit a regular Joe Schmo in front of this movie. Will they understand it? Will they engage with it as much? Will they be immediately turned off? I don't know. I'm curious to see where that goes, because really it's hard to talk about this movie without talking about its messaging. But when it comes to the craft of the movie, we'll get to that later in a little bit. That'll be my second rant. But really, where this movie exists in the zeitgeist, or will exist eventually when it settles, I think it's going to go some places. If not immediately, then later.
Yeah, I do think this is one of those movies that's definitely going to have legs, or is going to have some staying power. If it's going on Hulu, it's going to get a lot of eyeballs. You know what I mean? And even those who maybe aren't even aware of how in line it might be with their views or anything like that too, or just
Mhm.
even just with like the cultural zeitgeist at the moment too. What say you, Joe?
Just to go off of that too, and then I'll go into my opening thoughts. You can only hope too that this does get some love at an award show, whether it's the Globes or the Oscars, because that always helps get extra eyes on a movie from a general audience crowd. That might help spike not only its viewership but get the message across too. So we can only hope that like it gets something for whether it's costume design, original script. Yeah, I don't see Riley. It's not that he didn't do a bad job at directing. It's just there's been a lot of good directors this year, especially first timers, and two in the same month I went up against Boots Riley. But yeah, I can only hope that happens, and it just helps boost the viewership on the movie. Anyways, my opening thoughts. Um, Exploitation of labor, class struggle, economic alienation. I would never imagine a Looney Tunes ass movie like this would cover all that, and it did, and I loved it for it. Yeah, man, like, so Sorry to Bother You does talk about similar themes, not these exact themes, but themes about systematic oppression, few other things involving racism as well. I think they also did class struggle. Seems to be a thing Boots Riley likes to put in almost all of his stuff now at this point. So I was expecting that going into this, and Sorry to Bother You does a good job at like bringing that stuff in, being wacky with it, having a almost a Looney Tunes esque type of like energy to it too, with how crazy it gets sometimes. But I do feel as if, and you guys haven't seen the movie, but when you do, I'm curious to see how you guys will feel about it. And Sorry to Bother You, when you get to the third act, I think it jumps the shark a bit too much, and it goes way too far. And now here's the thing. Now that we've all seen I Love Boosters, let me say this. I Love Boosters doesn't jump the shark. In fact, I feel like, we're still staying in the same realm. Because to me, I Love Boosters from the get-go, I feel like just jumps immediately. And about halfway through the movie, I'm just like, you know what? Boots, I'm with you. Because if I'm not with you halfway through the movie and how crazy it's been insane, and you're introducing literally portals into the movie at this point, then I'm not going to be with you the rest of the way and where you're going to go by the end of the movie. And it almost feels like, because I remember reading this quote from Boots Riley, that if this movie doesn't make a profit, it might be over for him. And I'm sorry, Boots, that like, unfortunately, Neon did not look at the schedule and not think maybe putting this in the summer blockbuster season won't be the best idea. I really do think Neon should have done a better job at releasing this maybe like in April or something. Something where it was a bit of a quieter month that would have maybe given this movie a bit more legs to run on. Because to me, it really did feel like Boots knew this going into the movie, that like, shit, if I don't make money with this one, I don't know what's going to happen. Because he gave it his all, man. And I don't mean like he's giving it all like he he's directing his ass off. No, he's putting every message he wants to talk about into this movie, because this might be one of the last times he's going to get a budget this big to do something of this scale. Go ahead, Dom.
There's a scene where a character literally goes, "Oh, yeah, that's dialectical materialism." I'm like, motherfucker. She just says it.
Yeah. That's the thing. I was watching this, and I went to go see it with my friend, and we were just like, the movie's just going, and you just gotta be with it. And like, some people, it's not gonna work that way. It won't. Like when Dom says whether it's the regular Joe Schmo, or it might be even just the normal cinema lover, they might just be like, this is doing too much in one film. Like, there is literally a ball of stuff rolling around this movie, and it's almost like I look at that ball and go like, shit, that's this movie in a nutshell. It's like that. It's that chaotic.
And I think Boots would agree. I think Boots would even agree with that.
I think so too. I think so
Purposeful.
too. Like, but it is just so energetic, and it's really due to, I think, three things. The energetic performances across the board from everybody in this movie. They're so much fun to watch. Everybody is eating up their parts. They are having so much fun with it. Will Poulter is over dramatic as hell. He is chewing up the scenes he's in. Etza Gonzalez is playing a weirdo, and she kills it. Kiki Palmer and the rest of her girls are killing it. Demi Moore is such a bitch, and I love her.
Honestly,
it is so. And yeah, Don Cheadle's like little cameo, and some of the other cameos to get throughout this, like even oh my god, what's his name? Lakeith Stanfield, like even his role, it's like, bro, why is he here? Okay. Like
that's when this movie really. I already liked the movie a lot, like in the first opening moments. When Lakeith Stanfield has his first big scene, and you know exactly what scene I'm talking about.
Yeah,
I was in that theater like, what is going on?
That was the only time too. I turned to my friend. I'm like, see, that's some shit that happened, and I'm sorry to bother you. And it kind of took me out of the movie because it just became solely that. But anyways, yeah, amazing performances, very energetic, that match the visuals of the movie, which is another big boost. It's loud, it's colorful. The costume design is so much fun to look at in this movie, and like even the idea of like one of my favorite quotes in this movie. It's just one of my favorite things. Run on gag is the stores that Demi Moore manages. They all choose a color, and every outfit
Right.
is that color. And she's like, "Oh, if they don't have your favorite color, too bad. Go to a different store," and all this other stuff. It's I just the striking visuals of even a paycheck, like what a paycheck looks like in this movie. It's just like Jesus Christ. Um, and last but not least, it's Boots's just being fearless about everything while making this movie, throwing so much at the wall, whether it's going to stick or not. There are times for me where a filmmaker might do that and it doesn't work, but there are times in this instance it does. And I think there was a quote that really stuck with me from Kiki Palmer's character where it's just like, now's not the time for subtlety. It was like something along the lines of that. I don't remember. It's
Yeah.
been so long.
Now's not the
But
time for nuance.
nuance, that's what it is. Now's not the time for nuance. Like, shit's getting real or like something like that. Um, and I remember the minute, I think it was that quote that made me go, I get it. Like, he's just gonna throw everything he has, all the ammo he's been building up. He's gonna shoot it here because this might be his last shot to get it all out on this scale. And with that, man, yeah, I just fell in love with the movie from there on out.
Yeah, very, very true, though. You stole my thunder on that one because that's the opening line of my review, too. Is now's not the time for nuance that Corvette says, I think twice in this thing. And,
Yeah, two
and
times.
the other thing, at the end of the day, like, was I on board with every like surrealist inclusion that this movie, had or performed? Not necessarily, but I would rather watch a movie like this that's ambitious and at least tries shit and tries things. And even if they don't all work, there's a lot of it that does. There's a lot of it that does. There's a lot of it that's very blisteringly effective too. Um, Thematically, kind of going to Dom's point too, I think the one interesting crossroads for all the stuff that's kind of like hammered home or drawn in the movie, like very bluntly, the one thread that's kind of carried through this, and they don't really like really, what am I looking for, like double down, triple down on it, but
Mhm.
the constant thought that like Corvette has this like love-hate relationship with Christy Smith because like that's ultimately one of the designers that they're robbing from, and stealing the clothes because the clothes are too damn expensive in general for most people to afford. The ironic part though is she has aspirations to get to that level or to have her work have meaning, and it's how like we're all participating in the system even if we're critical of it too. And that's kind of just a common thread that's like kind of really not nicely interwoven throughout the whole movie. Um and again, it's very, I would rather watch something like this that's ambitious than watch a movie that kind of like tiptoes around what it wants to say. I would much rather you be blunt and very showy. And that's kind of who Boots Riley seems to be because he's also a rapper before this too.
In an era where the Netflix look has infected everything, in
Yes.
an era where the political discourse is just drowning in very germane platitudes where no one is getting anything done. So you just gotta go for it. And if you're gonna make some enemies along the way, as an audience, fine. At this point, fine. Uh,
Th-
of course, you say that you want something substantial to begin with, but this is that movie. You have something here, and not everyone's gonna like it. I think I don't know. Maybe it's too much for people. Maybe a friend taught me this word recently, or retaught me this word, is maximalism. Like, yeah, this movie's a maximalist to the nth
I've seen that
degree.
word be tossed around a lot with this movie.
Yeah, and it's like, hell yeah, let's just go for it. Leave nothing to interpretation, nothing to chance.
And,
Go
and and
ahead, go ahead.
there's something to be said. There's something to be said too. Like, again, even if I didn't love every sort of like every sort of inclusion or even
Mhm.
kind of how the third act felt like it lost me a little bit, kind of recalled the substance in strange ways beyond the
Uh,
presence of Demi Moore. But you know what's nice though, and what's very apparent here is that Boots Riley, even throughout all of it, and even throughout like some of the monologues and the terms that are being thrown around and everything, his priority with this though, really, you can tell, is to like entertain.
Oh yeah.
is to entertain, and it can be about heavy subject matter, but we can also take the piss out of it. We can also make it silly. We've got really broadly drawn, literally colorful characters in this whole thing. Like and it feels like he's telling everybody behind the scenes, like, do what got you here. Like here, like play this role, but do what got you here.
Yeah.
Like you're all professionals. This is not your first project. Like you guys can have your creative liberties. Be you, as Matt Nagy would say.
Does it does it preach? Yes. Does it pander? Sometimes, but it's not boring. It's not boring.
And this reminds me so much too, like when you said like it's not afraid to tiptoe around like, any themes that it's covering or anything like political that it wants to cover. Because like I look back last year when we saw him, and him was just dancing around what it wanted to do by just having visuals try to be like, see, look at that visual. And it's just like, yeah, but say something about it. Boots Riley's like, here's the visual, and now I'm just literally going to say it in your face. That's what I think about
Dialectical materialism. That's honestly, there are so many good lines in this movie. Literally just the character saying dialectical materialism got the biggest laugh out of me. I'm like, son of a bitch.
I knew there was going to be some Marxism somewhere. I didn't expect it to be spelled out like that. But I mean, it's really entertaining too. And I know I'm probably going to take the words out of the Dom's mouth here too, but I'll allow him because I'm not familiar with their work too. Hell of a damn score by the Tune Yards. Hell of a damn score with this thing. They did, I think, all of the soundtrack, including that infectious recurring hi-ho song, which kind of sounds vaguely similar to that. What is it? That ludicrous song, like What You Got in That Room or whatever the hell it is. I think it's in some commercials too. It sounds vaguely similar to that. So I kept thinking about that, but. No, the Tune Yards score the hell out of this, and I wasn't too familiar with them. I don't know if you were, Dom, but they're an Oakland group. They're a duo, and they use a variety of different things in their music, like lo-fi percussions, pedals, ukuleles, and everything too. So they should do more. They should have the opportunity to do more soundtracks. They did a hell of a job with this thing.
Yeah, and I guess going off of that, I want to just talk about the craft of this thing. Like, there is so much homegrown love, and they are squeezing everything out of this really extremely modest $20 million budget. Like, I was so impressed when I saw that number on Wikipedia. I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't. I also knew that there was no money spent on marketing. that I can certainly say.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they got. I'm surprised. Can I just say this real quick too? 20 million, that figure, assuming it's accurate. I've seen that reported pretty much everywhere. Assuming that's accurate. Okay. Movie budgets, they never disclose how much how much went into marketing. So that's 20 million plus whatever marketing was done, which wasn't a lot, as we can tell. The other thing is that I'm surprised they could afford this fucking cast.
I was
for
just
$20
thinking that.
million.
Dude, yeah. Because I look at this, I'm like, Demi Moore was an Oscar-nominated actress last year. I'm pretty sure that probably boosted her up. Keke Palmer's been in a lot of things recently.
Stanfield's not a nobody.
Yeah, Cheadle's not a nobody either.
Poppy Lou's popping off.
Will Poulter even.
Yeah, Will Poulter's decorated too. Like I'm surprised that because 20 million, that factors in cast salaries. I'm stunned that they were able to get everybody for that figure.
The only thing I can really say to that is, without any evidence, without backing it up with any evidence, is like, it had to have been favors. It had to have been just like, hey, look,
maybe just love of the material, honestly.
When the revolution happens, and people are going to come after me for my $500 million home, I want to say that I love boosters so I can get a pass on the gallows, right?
I mean, you have a good point there. Not to like stay on this subject too much longer, but like Cheadle is a very outspoken activist, and so is Etza Gonzalez. So I wouldn't be surprised too if they were like, I'll do this for like, a cheaper like price just because I love the messaging going on behind this.
Will Poulter, after playing the fucking worst human possible in Detroit, he was like, I gotta do something. I gotta make up for it.
We were talking. It's true. We were talking. Catherine and I watching the movie too, and I said, like, I love how great Will Poulter is. Every time we see like Will Poulter in a movie, like Death of a Unicorn, Warfare, Detroit, I feel like he's a staple of the show. We always single out and mention.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's so funny to me that like the scrawny kid, like he went from We're the Millers to What the fuck did you just call me? Like, like he's shredded, he's a physical presence now too, and he's a damn good actor. Like he's taken a lot. You worry when you see him in a role like that, like in We're the Millers, and he's very good in that. That he was gonna kind of get like the Michael Cera treatment. I remember thinking that,
Yeah.
like he was gonna kind of get the Michael Cera like youthful dweeby kind of kid roles and stuff. And I feel like after that movie, because Detroit was only 3 years later, I
It
feel
was like that
after
and Maze Runner. I was like, oh yeah, he's gonna be a new like kind of geeky scrawny kid.
yeah,
I,
like almost kind of like a Dane DeHaan, but a little bit more geeky.
Yeah.
Like, but I feel like after We're the Millers, he bulked up to avoid that and was like, I trust my acting abilities. I trust my
100%.
acting abilities.
100%. To be fair, though, he literally started his breakthrough. That's his breakthrough role, right?
Yeah.
Literally, his breakthrough role is making out in a borderline three-way with Emma Roberts and Jennifer Aniston. So you could argue he was a Chad from the beginning. So, I mean, look, I'd take that role. I'm just saying.
And it also helped too his role in The Revenant. He also had.
Oh yeah, I forget he's in that.
He was in The Revenant. He had that great scene with Tom Hardy. The guy, which I always reference, it's like the lingering thing. Everybody remembers the bear from The Revenant. I remember God giveth, God taketh away when he cocks the gun in his face.
Yeah.
But yeah, like he's great in it. He's very funny. Like he can deadpan too. And again, Naomi Aki's having a hell of a year too. She's doing some really outstanding work. She was in Mickey 17 as well. She was in Blink twice, I believe. So she's having a great year. There's a lot of people here. Also, Eric Andre is in this
Oh
thing. He
yeah, I
pops
forget.
up.
Yeah, he does make a cameo at the end.
Jason Ritter's got a cameo.
He always
too.
feels like he's doing a cameo. So that's an outlier.
Yeah, so there's some really noteworthy people in this thing too, and I really liked Kara Young, who is I think I mistakenly said Naomi Aki was in Is God Is. That was a lie. I meant Kara Young. She's in this too. And she's very good. And also
she was so fucking funny in this movie.
She's a great act. She's a great actress. I told you when we reviewed Is God Is that she was in a really good short I saw a few years ago called Fuck 'Em Right Back, and she had personality there, and she was the sidekick, and she's been having a great turnaround too. And I just remember I'll say this too. Keke Palmer is a fucking delight too.
Oh yeah.
Like like one of them going back to one of them days, and then two, I even remember too the OGs kids. This was kind of on the back half of like I think I was about like 11 or 12, so I was kind of on my back end of like really following Nickelodeon. You remember her on True Jackson VP?
No
on
way.
Nickelodeon. Yeah,
no, I don't. I personally don't.
True Jackson VP.
That's crazy.
You're a little older too, so you were probably about 16 when that show came out.
Yeah.
That was like the back half. That was like the Just Jordan era of Nickelodeon. And I remember that, and then Akilah and the Bee, the Spelling Bee movie. So just to see where she's at now.
God,
like
Keke Palmer is a Nickelodeon. Wow.
Yeah, she is.
I remember I went to go see
VP.
I went to go see Nope, and everybody was just like, God, I loved her on Nickelodeon. Like, I was like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? Like, who is this?
Wow.
Yeah, she did.
Cool.
I think she did a few things before. I don't think her official start wasn't on Nickelodeon, but it was pretty, for all intents and purposes, it was pretty damn close. And that show lasted a few years. I know it's not like I don't know if a couple years younger than us might remember it better, because it was post Drake and Josh. It wasn't a Schneider show either, but it was post Drake and Josh. It was like the next iteration of Nickelodeon shows was True Jackson VP.
Yeah.
And it was pretty good. I never watched a ton of it, but it was pretty good. It's just cool to see where she's at.
Another thing I actually really enjoyed about this movie too, and it's because like earlier this summer I rewatched it and then I went to go see the sequel. Devil Wears Prada 2 came out. And like, that kind of it holds the fashion industry to like be like, oh, isn't this such a cool industry and everything? Look how glamorous it is and everything.
I didn't even think about that.
I actually like, and don't get me wrong, I like both those movies. I love the first Devil Wears Prada. I think the second one's good too. But I do love that I Love Boosters came out the same year and is just literally pointing at the fashion industry and the hypocrisy that's even in Devil Wears Prada that I'm like, and they're just kind of like, ignoring the fact that this is a thing in the fashion industry. And like I Love Boosters covers it all from the exploitation of labor to, yeah, the pricing of the clothing and the people that they're marketing it to and everything. And so much more, even just about the people on top in the fashion industry as well. And it's just like, man, that's actually kind of funny they chose the same year for this thing. And that's why I was like, man, God, it would have been so much better if this would have came out before Devil Wears Prada and they could have done marketing kind of poking fun out of the movie before like that movie even came out.
That would have been crafty. Like
Yeah.
if Neon could have dug into the couch cushions and found a little bit more money for the
Could have
damn
found a quarter
marketing.
from
Like you could have had, they wouldn't have been this cartoonishly brazen. Maybe they would have, but like I love some of my favorite posters. Some of my favorite movie posters over the last 10 years were the Spider-Man Homecoming posters where Deadpool hijacks them.
Yeah.
Like, which I just loved. I just thought like when he knocks him off the fountain or knocks him off the tower,
Yeah.
like I love that shit. You know what I mean? There's not nearly enough of that, and that kind of playfulness too. I've probably mentioned this. I'll just pad this for about a minute or so, and then we'll go to break. I've probably had to have mentioned this on the show in the past, but it made me think. I bet you Boots Riley has seen this clip because parts of it reminded me of it. The MTV show Wonder Chosen back in the day, that kind of like demented Sesame Street show. It was a great show. Wonder Chosen is the name. There's one of the best clips of it is they used to have these like beat kid. They called it Beat Kids, and the graphic was two fists, and it said Beat Kids, and they would send a kid. And this is real life. Like they would send a kid to like ask adults like weird questions. So they had this one little girl. It's the best clip of the whole show. This little girl go on fucking Wall Street, okay? And
Oh
she's in a
no.
trench coat. She's in a trench coat with a microphone. There's scenes of her like standing in front of like the corporate offices with a megaphone yelling,
I think I've seen this clip. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
burn
yeah, yeah.
Wall Street, burn. And she's got to be like 6 or 7, and she goes up to she goes up to like the bankers and hands them like tissues and goes, "Here you go. What do I need this for, little girl? That's to wipe the blood off your hands." Like, and then she asked him, "When the revolution comes, where will you hide?"
Yep.
And then the one line Catherine I always constantly reference this. My favorite moment of the whole clip is when she goes up to the one banker and she goes, "We're here to fight the power." And then he goes, "What power are we fighting?" And she goes, "The China power." And he's like, "The China power?" And she's like, "Yeah, they're coming to do the hoo cha 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 on us." And I guarantee Boots has seen that clip. I guarantee it. Like, because that movie, Boosters has that kind of energy to it. That kind of blunt, like, okay, we tried nuance for like the last 20 years and making our points and shit like that. It's not working. Like, we're getting in this day and age, the social media era, like, you hate to say it, the louder you are, the more attention you get. And this movie seems to subscribe to that.
Yeah, if only the box office would match it. But
No, I know, no shit, right?
yeah.
Like you wish. I wish this thing would have at least. It came out at a really weird, crowded time, and you know what? Like in Neon's defense, I nobody saw Obsession doing what Obsession did. Like even the most optimistic Backrooms. We were saying on this show earlier this year, Backrooms was going to make a shitload of money. We all knew that. Anybody who was tapped in knew that was going to be a big hit. Obsession was the real damn surprise.
Yeah.
Like I figured it would do really well. I didn't expect it to end up being the 5th highest grossing horror movie ever made. That's a whole different thing. But we'll come back. We'll come back here in a couple of minutes after our Zoom sponsored intermission. Continue talking about I Love Boosters, the brand new Boots Riley movie, which is now available on premium video on demand. Don't go anywhere. Joe Viso, Dominic Guanzon, yours truly will be back in just a couple of minutes. Live on YouTube. It's Sleepless with Steve.
It's ever when things were just so slapdash at the last minute. No, a 3.5 out of 4 stars. This was great.
Really great discussion, guys. We will move forward, briefly touch on this. I do want to give this a little bit of time because we mentioned it about a month ago, and there's been not totally an update, but bigger, more deep dive on it. It's less a news story now, and it's becoming more of a feature, really thanks to this excellently made variety piece by Adam B. Very. It has to deal with the Blair Witch Project actors, which we talked about a couple of weeks ago. I'm friends with Joshua Leonard on Facebook, so I saw when he posted this initially, this whole thing of calling out Blumhouse and calling out the studio behind the Blair Witch Project as well, which was Artisan Entertainment at the time, for not giving them their royalties and really not getting due compensation for a movie that was generationally effective, made hundreds of millions of dollars, and is still an ensuing cultural staple that now has a sequel and a soft reboot made since then. The title of the article is called "The Blair Witch Project Actors Call Out Quote Unquote Reprehensible Behavior After Missing Out on Profits for Decades." This is an exclusive to Variety by Adam B. Very. What basically Adam B. Very did was he got the three actors, Joshua Leonard, Michael C. Williams, and Ray Hance, formerly Heather Donahue, all together on Zoom to talk about exactly what they are demanding from Artisan, now Lionsgate, and Blumhouse, mainly Lionsgate, because Lionsgate really just came to an agreement with Blumhouse to try to reboot the movie again and make another movie. And it's coming up on the 25th anniversary of Blair Witch. This is the 25th anniversary year of that movie. So basically the three actors wrote an open letter to Lionsgate on April 20th requesting quote unquote meaningful consultation on any future Blair Witch related projects that would likely result in the use of their names and faces, and requesting retroactive and future residual payments for the movie, quote unquote, equivalent to the sum that would have been allotted through SAG-AFTRA had we had proper union or legal representation when the film was made. The key point to understanding this is you have to go back to when the Blair Witch Project was made and released. We were young. So when we learned about this, the buzz was long over. But basically, in 1999, the internet wasn't what it was today. This was a movie made on a shoestring budget that got three basically theater actors involved in the production of this movie. They were given cameras and they were given a script outline for what they had to reenact in the woods. And it was the producers and the people, the very few people, limited crew members behind it that were making those sort of stick figure things and hanging them throughout the woods and kind of giving them a guided map on where to go. When the movie premiered at Sundance Film Festival, it was passed off as a real life student movie. And the actors had to go into hiding pretty much after the movie came out for about 9-10 months because it had to make it look like they were missing and presumed dead. Well, obviously, consequently, then they thought, well, we're going to go into hiding. This movie's going to get acquired, which it did by Artisan Entertainment. We're going to get money from this then eventually because they can't work.
Yeah.
They can't really work. They can't work in the entertainment industry, rather, at the time. One of the most moving parts of this long piece is when Michael C. Williams, the actor who plays Mikey in the movie, they all play their real character names. Love my webcam going out right now. He says, though, and a quote, "I'm embarrassed that I let this happen to me." He said, "You've got to put stuff away because you're a fucking loser if you can't, because everybody's wondering what happened and your wife's in the grocery line and she can't pay because a check bounced. You're in the most successful independent movie of all time and you can't take care of your loved ones." And that's really I think the most powerful part of this whole thing is that it's really, I think the most shocking is like how they didn't come out after the most recent reboot, and they had the restraint to still, or they didn't feel like it was the time to come out, or they really didn't think that they would have the power and the movement behind them to do so now. The sad part, which is also noted, I was going to try to find it here really quick, with the is when they were talking to a representative for SAG-AFTRA, the author of the Variety piece, Adam B. Very. He says it's complicated, this situation, because he said he's hopeful that the performers will achieve some compensation, but when there is no union contract covering the production, the actors in the union are generally limited to appealing to fairness. And of course, Lionsgate representative declined the comment for the story, as well as former executives at Artisan Entertainment, which I doesn't exist anymore either. So I don't know what's going to happen with this, and I'm afraid it's not. Back and better than ever, back after our Zoom-sponsored intermission, Sleepless with Steve, live on YouTube. Boots Riley's I Love Boosters is the movie today. We are talking it, starring Kiki Palmer, Naomi Ackie, Taylor Page, and a litany of other names they somehow afforded for $20 million or less. And where to continue to go with this thing too? I'm gonna throw it over to you, Dom. I don't want to hog the oxygen here. This is
Yeah, I was talking
this is
about
your time.
craft. I was talking about craft earlier, and we kind of veered off into budget, which is fine because we can't stop talking about it. But there's claymation. There's simplicity here for all of its maximalism. That's my word of the day. For all of its maximalism, there's simple shit going on here that really gives it an endearing charm, an underground, charm to it that's quite fitting. For instance, there's a quick gag here, and it's pretty good. Quick gag where a character needs to disguise by becoming a lighter skinned character. So how do they do that? Well, is it like CGI? Do they do like some morphing? Do they use like, tracking to like, pigment the skin or something? Or do they cover them in this makeup? No, it's just the actor ducks, it cuts, they come back up, and it's just a different actress.
Yeah.
That's it. In the same clothes to portray the same actor, like the same character. I'm like, yeah, simple shit like that. And it works because it's for boosters who are trying to just make it in this hellish world that is just the regular world. And I think it's indicative of how Boots was able to really not only save some money in the budget, but also maintain that look and that feel. Kind of that, I don't want to say home movie is not the right term for it, but it's like it's as if he is, well, not, it's not as if he is surviving the system that he is critiquing, and he's doing it on this said budget. And the like I said, the claymation, honestly, I do wonder how much the claymation costs, because that's a lot of labor, that's a lot of time intensiveness, that takes time. But at the same time, the people who do that stuff, they just like doing it for the love of the game. So like they could have easily been like computer graphics artists, but no, they chose to work with clay and camera. Those guys are insane.
There might
But
already be there's probably a documentary. I've thought about it though. That's like I'd like to make a list of like documentaries I'd like to see and then see if there any exist. We're due for like a really good claymation documentary.
oh, you're
Like
right.
how? Like the process of making claymation. And I just came up with the title. You ready for it? Clay Rights.
Shut the hell up.
Clay Rights.
Shut the hell up.
That would be fucking biblical.
You better patent it right now, and we just make that a Sleepless with Steve exclusive.
Damn it, if Spurlock was still alive, like he'd be all over that. Like, no, I love claymation though, but man, is it intensive? You know how it's intensive? How many claymation movies we get in a year?
Yeah.
How many movies with marionettes do we get in a year? Like, shit's hard. All animation's hard. I took a 100 level animation class. I sucked at it. I feel like I should give every animated movie 4 stars on the basis it exists.
Did you have to like draw? Like, I'm assuming you were drawing, right?
No, I wouldn't. No, we were using Flash. I couldn't even figure out the computer. I swear to God,
That's
like,
funny.
I now learn.
And cool. I'm glad you did that. Yeah.
A freshman had to help me. Like, I was a senior at the time.
Oh, this is college?
This was in college. This was
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah, I took an animation class. I needed it for my media studies thing. Teacher was great. Professor was great. He was awesome. He was an animator too. But no, I had this freshman kid that skateboarded to class every day, help me and shit, help me with like keyframes and everything like that. Like I really felt like, remember like the 3rd week of class, and I was really struggling, and I remember thinking like, this is how my dad feels using the internet. I get it now. This is how my dad feels. Like, I'm over here like, can I click this? What if I do this? You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
But no, the claymation here is great. The practical effects are great. You know what I mean? Like, I said this last week during the Odyssey too. It just feels different when it's real, and you can tell it is here.
There's more charm to the practical stuff that they're doing here on camera. There's more heartfelt with it too. Like, you could tell, like, not only does the message feel important to Boots Riley, but the craft does as well, like literally the filmmaking. And that's why like there's just like a lot of charm to it whenever it is claymation or just even just the funniness of like, yeah, it's like, oh, I gotta disguise myself as a white person, hold on. And like they like swap in, swap out and everything.
Oh, here's
Um
another example. I've been trying to find examples. Yeah, there's a scene where they're going up this super steep hill, and then like in a car, like they're on
yeah.
top of a car, and it's literally just they just tilted they just spun the footage,
Yeah.
however, or they were like they just literally leaned back the whole time. Like that's it. That's it. And it's great. It works.
Like I love the Christy Smith's office and how it was canted. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
how the floor
Oh
was
yeah, yeah,
canted.
yeah, yeah.
Just as a visual, just as a dynamic like visual piece to this thing too. Like, for somebody, and this just goes to show you, I don't know if he directed any of his music videos or anything, when he was making music and stuff, but like, and I get Joe's the only person who could back this up here with Sorry to Bother You, but like watching I Love Boosters, if you didn't know any better, you would think Boots Riley was a career filmmaker, the way he does shit. And I bet that's how Sorry to Bother You felt.
It does.
Like that did not feel like a debut.
When I look at I love Boosters. When I look at Sorry to Bother You, it's like, oh, dude, man, like how many more films this guy does? How many more films has this guy made? And I'm like, oh, just this, got it.
That's
It's
crazy.
it's impressive when you see that.
Yeah, I really hope this isn't the end for him.
He's older than I thought too.
Yeah, that's what
Like,
shocked me too. I was like, oh, I thought he was like in his 30s and everything, and I was just like, oh,
this shows how we were Midwesterners in the late '90s and early 2000s and didn't grow up on West Coast rap because he was part of the band The Coop, like and in the '90s and stuff like that. So that's really when he hit his apex and stuff when he was a lead vocalist for a couple different rap groups. It wasn't until after the movie I was assuming he was like maybe 40 or 42, because I figured it's been 8 years since Sorry to Bother You, but I'm like, no, he's 55.
yeah,
Like he's a
Crazy.
lot older than I thought he was.
55, but hometown boy too. Gotta give him that. From Chicago.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yeah, he was. I was trying to figure out. I was trying to look and see what neighborhood he was born in. I couldn't find that right off the top. He's lived in a lot of different places. But yeah, another one we can claim in Chicago. Shout out to that.
Hell yeah.
We'd like to go into closing thoughts now. We can go Dom, Joe, then myself, if so.
I'm good with
Yeah,
it.
for sure. Yeah, for me, the thing that I love the most about I Love Boosters is just how in your face it is. And as I said before, in an age where everything is becoming homogenized, everything is becoming bleak, everything is becoming wishy-washy, not just in the media, but in at least the mainstream media, and also in people's political opinions, um, or at least for the center, right? It's just becoming a muddled mess. This one has the clarity and the style and the boldness to just say what it wants to freaking say. If you don't agree with it, that's fine. And I don't think Boots Riley cares either, all that much.
I don't think he does either.
No, not in the least, not in the least. And I like that. There's, we learn so much over the years of just letting artists do what they want. There are times where that backfires. There's a time for subtlety, but a movie like this is not that. And the authenticity of it all just pours out of this movie in absolute droves. This is, it's so funny thinking about this movie again. This is a 4 out of 4 star movie, and it's like this kind of makes the Odyssey like a 3 out of 4 for me. Now that
Oh,
I'm
man.
really like comparing, obviously they're not really comparable, but when you think about the Odyssey, it's like, yeah, I think I was just impressed by how it was able to keep a Greek, a Greek story like engaging for me. Looking back on it now, like, damn, yeah, we can do even more. And honestly, but the thing is that I'm also talking about Nolan, who's like all about the doing it for real. So I do appreciate that for sure. But yeah, without a doubt, I Love Boosters 4 out of 4 stars. I don't think there was ever a question.
Real quick, you don't have to answer this question if you don't want to. If you either A, haven't thought about it, or B, just want to keep it a secret. Would you say it's your favorite movie of the year?
I I feel like yes, I would need to go through the list. So I'd have to Usually, I think about now, I would do like a update on the 2025, or sorry, like the yearly.
2026.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say yes, but that something might pop out to me if I go through the list.
Indeed, fair enough.
Yeah, for me, Boots in both of his movies so far, he has done a great job at taking just a satirical look at a premise and just give it a bunch of absurd visuals. And I really hope also that this isn't the last time for him like to do that with on a scale this big and everything. I would love it if Neon or A24, like, they're the two studios that seem to like to give a director like him just, the time to flex off like his creative muscle and show what he can do. Whether they take a loss or not, they don't care about that. It's more about we're doing this for the art. And that's to me who Boots Riley is. He doesn't care if it makes a profit. I don't think he really, I mean, he obviously wanted this one at least to. But to me, like what Dom said, I don't think he cares what people might even have to say about his movie if they're going against it, or like, if they are criticizing his messaging and his ideas, like, because this movie clearly shows, if you don't know who Boots Riley is and what he stands for by the end of this movie, you are not watching this movie at all. It really does, it's really unfortunate it didn't make money, but like, man, it's a 4 out of 4 star for movie for me, because it's just another movie that this year alone in 2026, I gotta say, like, this has probably been one of my favorite years we've done the show, because there's just been a lot of great stuff in theaters that we've seen this year. Like 2026, I don't think it's any coincidence that this is the best Hollywood's been doing since 2019, because I feel like there's just been a lot of variety at the theaters for people to go see. And during a month where it was horror movies and big Star Wars movie, there was something this small out there that at least for 2 weeks, film goers like us went to go see it and be like, hey, you know what? There was something for me to go see at the theater. And even then, like, stuff like Obsession and The Backrooms really spoke to us as well. It's just great that how much variety there really has been this summer of just like really good quality stuff. And I'm looking forward to seeing how the rest of the year is going on and everything. We got some really good ones coming up within the next few weeks too, with like End of Oak Street, Resident Evil, Spider-Man, stuff like that. Those are the bigger ones, and then even smaller ones on the horizon too that come out in November that I'm like, ooh, I can't wait to see how these turn out. October as well has some smaller movies that I'm looking forward to. Yeah, 4 out of 4 star movie, just another one to add to a great collection of just cinema that we've been having this year.
Boots tweeted earlier this month. He said, in a tweet I just saw, he said, "The Wizard of Oz, Citizen Kane, It's a Wonderful Life, The Wiz, Blade Runner, Fight Club, I Love Boosters. Box office disappointments, but we still have international to go this fall."
Yeah,
That's true.
Yeah,
That's true. I wonder if this will play well in China.
Oh man. Oh man.
Is it allowed?
If that somehow gets through, oh, that would be crazy.
Is it allowed? That's a good question. I want to see really quick. I'm curious. I'm genuinely curious. Oh, shocker. An official theatrical release date for I Love Boosters in China has not been released yet. Shocker. Yeah.
I didn't think about that until just now.
No, I know. How's it going to play in Vietnam? I Love Boosters, though. I didn't enjoy it as much as you guys. I didn't really levy any serious criticisms here. My thing is, it's kind of like the Daniels Everything Everywhere All at Once, where there's a certain point, like for me, it becomes a lot. It becomes a lot in the third act too, and I don't think it lessens the message. I just think your mileage for absurdism and surrealism, if it's anything like mine, may vary. I think, though, through it all, more laudably, however, though, and I think that this is really what makes it a cut above and why I don't feel like levying those criticisms too harshly, is this thing, for as wacky as it gets, and it gets fucking weird in the third act, like, it doesn't lose sight of the Velvet Gang. It doesn't lose sight of the individuals and the characters. And that's a really tough thing to do when you're making a movie like this that is a lot of costumes and a lot of sets. There's so many opportunities for everything to swallow the characters, but it's the cultivated personalities of them. It's the dynamic performances. It's the multi-generational cast that I think sells it and overcomes that, whatever kind of overload I might have felt at the end. It's 3 out of 4 stars for me. I really enjoyed this one. I need to see Sorry to Bother You, though. Like,
Comrades, line him up against the wall. Comrades.
I really want, if both of you guys get around to it, I really do want to know what you guys think of Sorry to Bother You.
Yeah, I need to see it. I've had 8 fucking years.
It's
It's no excuse.
It's one of those where it's like, how did I miss this? How did I miss this?
You know, like, yeah, I remember being pissed. And I remember even thinking, because, like, I started the first week of July in Peru, and I remember thinking, like, damn it, there's only 8 screens at the AMC in Peru. They're not going to get this. Like, you know.
It's funny, too, because in the green room, we were talking about how, like, you know, being younger, you could stay up later, you could do crazier shit to go see a movie at, like, the wee hours in the morning. I went to go see Sorry to Bother You on the drive home from the station after doing an overnight from 12 to 6 when we used to do Sleepless, 12 to 3, and I would do 3 to 6 after. And I was just passing up the theater because I slept at the station for a meeting, and I was passing up the theater at like 9 in the morning going, fuck it, I'll go see now. I just pulled into the parking lot and watched it, and then went back to bed.
Nice.
That's a good trip right there. Next week, Spider-Man: Brand New Day. This was a nice lull weekend. I know, like, there's some action movie out, Motor City, I think.
Motor City, yeah,
was out, but like nothing. It's so rare to have a weekend in July like last weekend where nothing's out, but nothing wanted to touch the Odyssey, and nothing was gonna. And you're sandwiched now between Odyssey and Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like nothing came out. Nothing of note came out. So it was a perfect lull weekend to double back for this. Next week is Spider-Man: Brand New Day. So we'll tackle that one.
I believe we're reviewing it on Monday, right?
Is it a Monday show next week?
I think we're doing a Monday show next week. That's what's on the doc. Confirm that in the green room and everything.
Okay.
We'll talk about it more, but we'll talk about it more off air.
Okay.
Okay. I was gonna say, so you might see a Monday show. You might see a special Monday show. I forgot we did have that weird scheduling quirk coming up, though. Either way, I'll be ready. So, I didn't mean to say it flippantly either. Spider-Man: Brand New Day, like, oh, we tackled this. Now we're going to Spider-Man: Brand New Day. Spider-Man's my favorite hero, and I've really liked this trilogy. Now it's a quadrilogy, but we will talk that next week on the show. I will post. I'll post probably a clipped version of this review too, and use it for my review of I Love Boosters on my website as well, stevepulaski.com. That's our show today. For Joe Viso, Dominic Guanzon, and yours truly, this has been Sleepless with Steve.